Refeeds and diet breaks. You probably know already that these are control over feeds, not cheat days, no cheat weeks, and mostly implemented to allow more flexibility in life while dieting, reducing that psychological burden of being in a calorie deficit. The most important thing to take away here is that these methods should only be implemented if they maintain or improve your adherence. Not everyone will benefit from a refeed or a diet break. Not everyone is going to need a refeed or a diet break all the time. With refeeds, you gotta account for the high days and low days within your total calorie budget of your deficit. Whereas diet breaks are totally calculated to be at your maintenance calories, clearly separated from weeks of actual calorie deficit, which may or might not be cycled as well if you wanted to. Overall, what would you do? Assuming you know your current calories for deficit and maintenance, you could reduce your protein intake slightly when going back to maintenance, or just simply keep it the same and play only with carbs and fats. Usually fats could be maintained or reduced by 10 or 20%, just depends on what you want to do with the fats, and if you want more carbohydrates. Typically, calories will be raised to maintenance, if not slightly more, if you wanted to have a little bit of a wiggle room with your calories in your refeed days or your diet breaks. It will increase your carbohydrate intake to filling remaining of the calories. Have your refeed days on your hardest days for training days, since your calorie increase is going to help you train harder and being in a better anabolic environment. However, it doesn't have to be that way. Like if for you a diet break or a refeed means that you just want to have some days just to recover and actually utilize rest days to get the most out of that preparation for the next day, which will be harder, that's up to you too. Bear in mind that ideally you want at least 2 or 3 days and put them back to back, so they have that little psychological break effect, also physiological effect on your hunger and glycogen replenishment. Now let's do an example from one of my clients' calories for her refeed, and then we'll take the same example for calculating a diet break. Now, looking at her weekly calories, we know that her total weekly budget is 1200 to 50, and that is obviously taking into account that she was already in a calorie deficit. We decided her low days would be at around 1570 per day for 5 days, and then we're going to put a refeed back to back of 2 days at her maintenance calories, which was around 2200. Now we know that looking at her numbers, her protein was around 140 grams, and if we multiply this by 4, we have 560 calories from protein. And if we subtract this from 1570, which is the total calories you will use for 5 days, we are left with 1010 calories for carbs and fats. Her carbs and fats were then placed into a 70-30 ratio, which is something that she prefers because she prefers carbohydrates over fats. So we will allocate 70% of carbohydrates from those calories and 30% for fats from those calories. So taking the 1010 calories multiplied by 0.7, we get 707 calories from carbs, rounded to 710 calories. Then when we divide that by 4, we get 175 to 180 grams of carbohydrate per day. To get the fat numbers, we take 1010 calories and we multiply that by 0.3, and that gives us 303 calories, rounded to around 300 calories from fat. So if we divide 300 calories by 9, we get about 35 grams of fat. Her low days, her numbers will look like 140 grams of protein, 175 to 180 grams of carbohydrates, and 35 grams of fat. Now for high days, we can do exactly the same with her maintenance calories for a 2-day refeed. So her final refeed macros would be 140 grams of protein, 285 to 290 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. Now, with diet breaks, you calculate what the deficit should be per day, or again, weekly calorie intake, accounting for the daily calorie deficit. In my example, my client average daily calories were calculated to be around 1750 per day. And this would be every single day of the week, or could still be cycled on its own. And her diet break week would be at her maintenance calories, which would be around 2200. With diet breaks, there is not really a hard rule that you need to do or determine whether you have to do 2 weeks or 1 week, or you have to do it every 2 weeks like the Matador study. You could utilize them more reactively if you are feeling you need a break or going for a holiday, or the leaner you get. The most important thing to take away here is that these methods should only be implemented if they maintain or improve your adherence, and they need to be tailored to the needs of each individual rather than just be applied automatically for everyone. So I really encourage you to try out a few different ways of doing things and see what you like best and what is the most sustainable method or way for you to implement during your fat loss phase. Tell me something. Do you use diet breaks or refeeds? Do you know how to calculate them? Tell me below. Hopefully today you learned how to set them up, how to differentiate the programming of both refeeds and diet breaks. If you liked this video, please hit the like button down here, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may benefit from this tutorial. I see you in the next one.